Hello everyone, compliments of the season. This festive season has been amazing, had an amazing Christmas, and now it's the last day of the year and I'll be hosting the show today. I am Mariah Afolabi Brand. Oh goodness, 2018 has obviously been an amazing year. So many ups and downs. I can tell you that again and again. But I'm grateful to God that He's seen us through. It's the last day of the year. Lots of people are planning to go to church or going to mosque, pray, do what they have to do to enter into 2019. We all hope that we all have an amazing 2019 and we pray that the year becomes better. I'm sure you're wondering what I have in store for you today. Don't worry, we have quite a bit. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
I'm still here. Welcome back. So today on the show, I'll be starting the show with our visit to the Vehicle Inspection Office here in Lagos. Now, what we had was that we tried to visit quite a number of places in Lagos State that they were doing amazing things. And VIO office was one of them. And myself and a few of my colleagues were there to experience how the office actually functions, what they do there. You don't want to miss this because this season has been amazing. People have been going up and down. And VIO obviously were part of the entire process. Watch this. How you doing, sir? Mariah Afolabi. How you doing, sir? Yes, sir. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thanks for having us.
Good afternoon.
From TBC, we host the program Your View Breakfast Show. And we thought it was, as the year is running to an end, we thought it was important to have a conversation with your organization to know what your plans are, what you're doing, how you're going to help to keep our roads safe, especially with our drivers, and what you're doing at least towards the vacation period that is coming up. So I'd like you to go ahead, sir. What's VIO up to, and what should we expect from you? Please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Well, like you know, every year we go on an annual drive to inform the public about the awareness of being safe on the road, and we do an annual. I think we do it twice a year. Where we go out to different organizations, parks, clubs, social gatherings, NURT offices, professional bodies, and we enlighten them on the proper usage of the roads and how to be saved throughout the whole year. Like any other year, we've done the first part of that, and in the next couple of weeks we're going to start on the latter part of this year. But as a continuous drive to making our roads safe, we always embark on giving the public referral points on how to keep themselves safe and the roads, the vehicles that they use in an orderly manner in order to supply the roads safely.
So one of the objectives of these visitations that we've been to Lagos last week, is to make sure that we know, or make the society, the community and people around, the citizens of Lagos know the services that some organizations offer. We know the VIO, of course you're in charge of vehicle inspection and all that, but recently we've not been seeing VIO on the roads, and people still wonder, is this still an active establishment? What services does this now provide in the offices? So that's one of the reasons why we're here. I would like you to tell us how you now work on
okay. Thank you very much. We are on the road, but we are not on the road. And what I mean by that is the executive governor of the state has challenged us to use technology in order to effectively apply her jobs. So what we've done is Lagos State has procured cameras that we have installed in various parts of the state to, in a short word, do what we used to do when we were standing on the road. So we don't need to stop citizens on the road to ask for their vehicle particulars anymore. We let the machines do that. What it does is the cameras, like I said, are located in different areas of of the state. And what they do is they scan your plate number and they run that through a database. And in that database, we have roadworthiness certificates, vehicle license, insurance, and it just goes through all those data to see if you have one. And if you don't have one, you'll be automatically issued a ticket. So that negates the issue of us being on the road and stopping people.
I have to come to you. The people actually pay these tickets.
Yes, they do.
Because they do.
They have been paid, and I hope you don't get one, because I'm sure your vehicle documents are up to date. But quite surprisingly, people have been willingly complying with that, and they're a lot happier with that because we are not impounding their vehicles. We're not stopping anybody on the road. So if you have a meeting to attend, you can attend your meeting, and if you violate the law, you still pay that fine, but you can go ahead and attend. Yes.
How do these vehicles get scanned? Is it when you just park it and or you just drive, or just randomly picked, or when there's an offense?
The system is called automatic number plate recognition system. Okay. As you drive on Lagos Road, where the cameras are installed, the system picks your scan through
randomly.
Randomly. Depending on even at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour, it picks it. So it picks your number plate, run it through the system. If you've not renewed your document, immediately print a ticket.
So Mariah asked now that is it at the point of an offense? So whether or not you've committed an offense, you're randomly checked. What happens when you now commit an offense?
If you've committed an offense, once the ticket is printed, the ticket is now delivered to the resident of the offender. Yes.
So it may be a vehicle violation, for instance, or traffic obstruction or something.
For instance, driving without roadworthiness certificate, driving without vehicle license, driving without hacking permit, driving without insurance, vehicle insurance. All these prescribed particulars are those particulars that you should be with once you are on the road. If you are not with those particulars, if you not renewed all those particulars, you are not supposed to be on the road.
So an information I got from our visit to Lagos was that even if you get your vehicle roadworthiness certificate from the local government, for instance, or other places where they get it, there's a token on it that you must come there for free service, because once you've paid for the roadworthiness, you then come to Lagos and have your car checked and all that to tell you which areas, minor defects or major defects, that you have to put to sort out on your car. But most Nigerians don't do this. That's why I wanted to expatiate on the offense, for instance. So you have a roadworthiness certificate, but your car is not roadworthy. Do you understand the question? So how do you pick these offenses? How do you know if a car is not roadworthy just by using a scanner to scan the car?
You know, ordinarily we're supposed to check your vehicle before issuance of those.
Exactly.
But because the centers are not well spread, we only have 10 centers presently in operation. But because the centers are not well spread, we've tried to manage that particular situation by attaching a referral note to the roadworthiness. Once the RWC, the roadworthiness certificate, is issued, you'll now asked to visit those centers, the ones closer to you, at any particular day to do the test, because you've paid for those tests, and to now check the health of your vehicle. Once you go to the Lagos center and the check is done, if you have a minor defect, they will ask you to go and fix it. If you have a major effect, for instance, a major effect constitutes brake failure, engine problem. So those particular two examples, the vehicle will be impounded.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
And I want to go to the trucks, because yes, we do everything to make sure that we comply, We do everything to make sure that our roads, our regular cars are compliant. But we see that the trucks have brake failures. We see that the trucks don't have lights. They don't have headlights. They don't have back brake lights. I mean, who is monitoring these trucks, and who is ensuring, who is checking them for their roadworthiness? Because they are the ones that causing a lot of these accidents that we have on Lagos roads.
Thank you for that. We still do check them. You have to appreciate the fact that they are large in numbers, and we have to take them gradually. We have special centers that deal with trucks. I think there are about 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 or 5 that deal with trucks. But the numbers are overwhelming. So we take them as they come. And you must also recognize the fact that a lot of these trucks do not reside in Lagos State. They come from other states. So it is when they come here that we are able to attend to them. And some of them, you know, they try to stroke their luck, so to speak, and try to bypass us. But eventually, we will get there. Because of the large numbers, we are in a position right now where we are trying to institute programs where we talk with the association, where we can bring them all in. The ones that we are currently focusing on are the companies that are residing in Lagos State. So we go to them physically to ensure that they bring their vehicles in for testing. Likewise, some of those trucks too, they go out of state, and we have to wait for them to come back. But we are getting to them.
So I'd like to see where your scan, the informations go. How do the system is there a room, an operating room where these things happen?
The operation room is not in the headquarters here, it's in Ojodu, but I have a copy of a ticket that we issue. These are the kind of tickets that we issue. You know, they take a picture of the vehicle, the number plate tells you what violation you've had, and those are the bills that we issue. Yeah, that we issue to prospective clients that you have violated, this is what you have done, and those are the fines attached to it. Fine ticket also includes your driver's license. To be clear on that, once we issue you a ticket, we also run you through whether you actually do have a driver's license, and if you don't, we include that on the fee or on the fine.
But you know that in Lagos State, sometimes it's difficult to get a valid driver's license, because I know somebody who gets a driver's license and someone they stop them and say, oh, it's fake, and he got it from the VIO office, or it was the Federal Safety. So there's always that issue of how do you know that the license you carry is actually authentic?
I'm glad you asked that question. Let me first clarify something. Federal Road Safety is not in charge of issuing you a driver's license. Federal Road Safety is in charge of printing your driver's license. If you want a genuine driver's license, you must come to Vehicle Inspection Services. It is a state designated job, and we test and issue individual clients driver's license. We determine whether you get a driver's license or not. Federal Road Safety.
I need to clarify. I just went for renewal at the Federal Road Safety Center. I had my data captured again and all that.
You've already had one on the system?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And I got it from the Federal Road Safety.
Okay.
I actually went to, you know, they have offices in every local government office. So I went to the local government secretariat and I had my capture done the first time. The second time I went to the headquarters at Ojodu to do it again. And the reason is because I don't want any bottleneck. I wanted it to be quickly done. Unfortunately, they're delaying the permanent one. I still carry around the temporary one that has been extended. And the issue was that they said it's coming from Abuja. So I want you to clear the bottleneck. Is it that they work in tandem with you and they're not telling us, or you know?
Okay. Not to get into any specifics, for a fresh applicant, for renewal, you must visit a vehicle inspection service. Whether you have a driver's license on file or not is irrelevant. I'll tell you the reason why. If you have a driver's license on file, you've been driving for the last 3 years and it's up for renewal. God forbid something could have happened to you in those 3 years or 5 years or whatever. We need to physically assess you that you haven't lost an eye, you haven't lost an arm, you know, you can still drive a vehicle. That is the reason why you must come to vehicle inspection services. And if your record is not on our system, that license you hold has no bearing whatsoever.
You don't have a driver's license with that.
So what what Federal Road Safety does for you is, yes, they have your details on file. You don't want to take another picture. They can use your old picture if you so want to, but you must come to Vehicle Inspection Service so we physically assess you that you are still competent to drive or move a vehicle.
Okay. This is not to be arguing, but there's an office at the Ojodu headquarters where they do a driver's training and test.
Yes.
So I did the test. I went in. I was assessed. I did the eye test. I did all that. Even for new applicants, you do an exam, computer-based exam.
Yes.
And I thought I didn't have to do the computer-based because it was a renewal.
Okay.
But I did the eye test, and they said they had to do it periodically to be sure that I was qualified to have the license.
Then you have a valid driver's license.
You know, if you've gone through, for instance, if you're applying for a renewal, you should go through the Vehicle Inspection Service. You should do the eye test, the verbal test,
Yes, the
oral test. Once you've done all that and you passed, you're free to go for capturing at the
So you don't need to come
FRSC.
here.
No.
You can do that. So that means yours
There's
is
an
very-
office there.
There's an office there. This is the headquarters
Okay.
for the Vehicle Inspection Service. You don't need to come here to do all that. It has been decentralized in all the local government, just like the FRSC have offices in different local governments. Wherever you see FRSC, you see a Vehicle Inspection Service, you see an MVA officials also.
Thank you, sir.
And just for ambiguity, we have 22 centers scattered around the states where you can process genuine driver's license. So you're not limited to one place like Ojodu. There are 22 different locations that you could do that at.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the
Enlightening us.
clarification.
So
Yes.
we'd like to go on a tour if you're okay with that. Take
No
the
problem at
facility.
all.
Let us know what's going on. All right.
Okay. Before you go, you just viewers, you've heard it. There's all those things.
Before you go, presently this particular office is I won't call it a makeshift because the government has now built a permanent center for the Vehicle Inspection Service. The headquarters is at Ojodu. The building is ready, just awaiting furnishing. So whatever you see here, don't get discouraged.
Okay. So there you have it. We've been speaking with the gentleman from VIO, Mr. Fashola and Mr. Bajulaye, and they've been explaining to us that if you have a driver's license that you've not done proper inspection by the VIO,
Yes.
it's not valid. So please ensure, even if you go to an FRSC office, ensure that you get properly checked before you are reissued another driver's license, because this Christmas period you don't want to be caught, and they can actually scan you. You can't just be driving and you just scan and you get a ticket. You don't want that this Christmas season. So we'll go on a break and we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with me. So I learned quite a bit from the VIO office, trust me. Now, the next part of this is to share with you one of the most exciting episodes of 2018 for me. There were quite a number of them, trust me. I loved the interview with Obi Ezekwesili. I loved a lot of interviews we had this year. We had Senator Remu Tinubu on the show. The woman was on the set back to back. She wanted to run us to over 10 o'clock. You know, we had so many exciting guests this year. But one of those that were actually fun for me was the one where I took off my wig. That trended like crazy. Honestly, it happened. I didn't plan it. It was just the right thing to do at that moment. But I didn't realize it was going to get that kind of traction. Everybody and their great-grandfather called me. Why would you remove your wig on the show? I said, well, it's a show. I just thought it was necessary. You don't want to miss this. Watch it again.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, she's a former Minister of Education, probably known as Madam Due Process. She's a leading chartered accountant who was a co-founder of Transparency International. She's also one of the co-conveners of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign to find the 300 Nigerian schoolgirls abducted in 2014. She's so many things, but most importantly, she's a woman of integrity and a force to reckon with in this generation. She's also popularly known as going around speaking, saying it as it is, you know. This is a woman that says it, drops it as it is. Welcome with us, the powerful Obi Ezekwesili. You see, I tried to give that intro, but it just kind of mumbled in my mouth. But thank you so much for coming. It's good to have you. Everybody was hoping that some figures initially back early in the year, 56,000 was running around. People were hoping that we'll get something where that is meaningful for Nigerians. But we hear them debating 24,000, 30,000, 22,500. And we're thinking, all that meetings. In your view, why are we still debating the small figures? And is it possible for us to have a better minimum wage going forward?
So the issue on minimum wage is a very difficult one. The reason is I don't know how many of us realize that already the total revenue from oil is no longer sufficient to pay the salaries of 2 million workers that we have in the public sector. Total earnings from oil. So we're in fiscal stress, we're in serious fiscal pressure. So it is very possible to have a conversation that is not based on reality, and then everybody would get up and smile and be happy. Or we could have a candid conversation that says, why is it like this with us? Why is it that our productivity as a country is not sufficient to concretely allow us to pay people wages that are living wages?
Exactly.
So there is a very candid conversation that both sides are not having.
Can take addition to this, because we have currently the Minister for Finance saying that it is easier for us to sell assets as opposed to taking loans to fund the current budget. And I know that you were in charge of BPE, so you understood. That was how you got Madam Due Process, because
so BPE is Bureau for Public Enterprise. That one, they are the privatization people.
Yes.
I was BPP, as in due process, which is Bureau for Public Procurement.
Yes. So in linking them together, we have issues of the fact that we have budgeted ₦1 million for a cup, and what it would actually cost should have been 500,000, and then we have a lot of leakages going through those areas. Two, we're taking loans, we're trying to borrow within. What is the right procedure for us to go about funding the current crisis we have right now, which is we don't have money?
Well, the truth is, when you don't have money, that's when you're supposed to become innovative and creative. And so, you either have to improve on your expenditure. In other words, look at your expenditure, find out how you can reduce it significantly. So if you said a cup costs 1 million and it costs 500,000 and you're budgeting it for 1 million, you need to just get that correct, cut it down. And then so you face the expenditure side and you improve on it. And then you have to look at the revenue side. To look at the revenue side is basically to say to yourself, what do I do in order to expand the base of the revenue that I can get? And the key way to expand the base of your revenue is to have much more private sector activities going on in your country. Wow. And for you to get that, you have to reform your economy in a very intense way.
I want to go to education. As a one-time Minister of Education, what do you think the government can do to salvage the decaying educational system, knowing fully well that out of the 7.04% was allocated of the 8.1 trillion in 2018 budget was allocated to the educational system? What can we do? Where do we go from there?
So the education story at the time that I was Minister of Education showed clearly that we must not immediately, say the problem in education is money. We must not. Because I found clearly that there is the money story, but if you made it a single story of money, you would just put money into a dysfunctional system.
Exactly.
And when you put money into a dysfunctional system, you don't get results. What you get is a well-funded dysfunctionality. And that is not helpful to the children that you want to train. So what we did was really to identify the different elements of crisis: teacher quality crisis, outdated curriculum crisis, the poor adoption of technology crisis, the funding distortions crisis, the crisis of instructional materials, the crisis of environment for learning, the crisis of lack of evaluation and inspection and quality assurance in education, the crisis of a lack of ethics in education practices, in examination practices, the crisis of gender disparity. In other words, you're looking at girls and boys in education, in school systems. The crisis of special needs education. People don't even know that at least 20% of children in the public school system have one learning defect or the other.
I had a question.
Still within education, I totally agree with you in terms of the fact that it's not a funding problem. It's more of a reform problem. And you've mentioned a lot of the challenges that we need to deal with. Can you now give us ideas and suggestions on how we can deal with it?
Okay, so we had quite these solutions as part of the education reforms in the 2006, 2007. So on teacher adequacy and teacher quality issues, we then put a special teacher scheme that hired special teachers that through the federal government that were sent to especially the rural areas across the country. It was a special teacher scheme. Some 45,000 teachers were under that scheme. Then we introduced in-service training, professional training of teachers. And then we did, and that was like over 120,000 teachers across the country were going to go through this professional in-service training that had stopped. It was no longer happening in the country for decades. We reintroduced that. Then we did a special program to upgrade all the teacher certificate, grade 2 teachers. There were many of them, massively. It had been prescribed that people should only have teacher grade 2 certificate. But we had majority of the teachers in the primary schools and even secondary schools, so we had to upgrade them. And we designed a special teachers program with the National Teachers Institute in Kaduna.
It's not working.
And to get them to NCE. What you should ask is whether it was continued.
You see, I want to go to the issue of being continuum because there's an issue of procurement that, public procurement, which you champion, which calls you the Madam Due process. And I was looking at myself that between that time you left office until now, I remember when Minister Fashola kept saying that, oh, there's no money for this, the budget, contractors were not paid, there were issues of people just leaving the works, and he had to now start starting the contract over again. And I'm thinking, I thought you already handled issues of the process of getting contracts where we know you do a job and you get paid, and there are no issues. What happened? What happened? What was the road between the time you left and the time where this administration took? What exactly happened?
Morayo, I wish I could answer. What gets to happen is people see me at the airport or somewhere and they say, Madam, due process is no longer due process. And they say it to me. Some of them even say it and laugh. And I say, why are you laughing? You should not. Are you laughing? You think it's my personal problem? It's not. We must be a people. We must be a people that build on things.
The older generation have called us a generation of noisemakers because we sit back and let things happen and we do not care. Now, how do you think we can, as young people, take charge of our destiny in terms of leadership and standing up for justice?
I don't think that the older generation has a moral ground to to call you that. Because in our older generation, and that's the generation born in the 60s, we also, only a few of us actually have the voice and use it. Most of our own generation were so scared of military in this country that they swallowed their voice, and they also want their children to continue to swallow their voices. But a few of us that even have used their voices, what are we called? They say noisemaker. Yeah. She's saying it so that she will be relevant. And so she can, you know, and you think of it and you say, how silly can this be? I need relevance.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
I need relevance.
Let me go to the issue of Transparency International, because anytime Transparency International comes up with anything, or even Amnesty International comes up with a report, the first thing we say, oh, it's a lie. It's wrong. Oh, it's unfounded. How did they come about it? They can't just be the one telling us these things. What are the parameters? As a co-founder, what are the parameters? How do they come about these reports? Because how authentic are they for us to even believe as a people that what these people are saying makes sense? Because our government makes it look as if I don't know what they're talking about. They're liars. Okay, so if a ranking tool that the World Bank, the IMF, the World Economic Forum, businesses, you know, multinational companies use in assessing countries, if you want to now begin to say it is not a valuable tool, you know you're on your own. Yes, so true. So Nigeria, you know, any government that refuses to take ownership of a problem cannot solve it. Because if any problem not owned cannot be solved. Yes. We know we have a systemic corruption challenge. We must not get a very, like always on the defensive. You know, the truth is that when a problem is identified and you confronted it head on, you know, the way when we were in government, Transparency International, you know, ranked, and in a particular year, the ranking was bad. And I said to the people in government, I said, guys, we must take ownership of this. Because I was in the sub-team head for the economic team on good governance, accountability, transparency, anti-corruption. I said, we will take ownership of this. So what we're going to say to the world is, yes, we admit that we have corruption challenges in this country. What we're going to do would be A, B, C, D.
Yes. During my time, when I was in school, I enjoyed free education. And I believe there are youths watching me talking now, agitating for free and fair forum for youths that have tasted the honey and the sweetness of Nigeria, that wants to come out and speak. Please, we just need a fair ground for us, people like me and people watching me, because I believe they are seeing and hearing me now. Right. They want to come out and say it the way Nigeria used to be. When I was in school and I enjoyed free education, it was very, very sweet. I never dreamed of it that Nigeria could turn this. So please, we need a fair ground for all, for free, outspoken of mind. Thank you.
Yes, but it's interesting that you say that. Today's world offers you a platform to express your voice. Yeah. You don't even need anybody to give you the platform. Just on your Twitter page, on your Twitter handle, on your Facebook page, it depends on what kind of conversation interests you. Don't misuse that platform. That platform is a platform of social linkages and the amplification of your voice. And you can structure your organizational capacity by connecting to as many people who share your ideas as possible.
Right.
What we need is drastic situations call for drastic measures. I look at the democracy that we practice in Nigeria and I think completely scrap this system of democracy that we practice. That's take out the house. The houses that we have are not representing us the way they should. So we have a complicated system. If we have you as president today, what is the guarantee that the house will not be a clog in the wheel of progress?
please, once you take away the legislative arm of government, you no longer have a democracy.
So what should we do to that place to sanitize?
So what you're pointing at is the frustration that we all feel, right? So it means that the quality of people that enter our politics would need to improve. Girls, I'm asking you to enter our politics. The quality of conversation that you have when you do your program shows that you're engaged in the matters of development. Don't limit yourself.
But we lose credibility when we do that.
Yeah.
We feel we lose credibility because we feel like we're the voice of the people. Once you join them,
That's what
you
she's
them.
people are saying that she's going into politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? This old order political class that has mismanaged the country, they've been comfortable for all of us to just ignore politics. We now know that if we don't fix politics, we're in trouble. You see this thing they say, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. The truth is, if we don't fix politics and the old other politicians in this country, they will kill us.
Unfortunately, goodness, time is far spent. Thank you. I mean, we're out of time. Thank you so much, Mark. It's going to be such a pleasure having you. You got to come back.
I'm glad
Hopefully, once campaign starts,
yes.
we'll come back and have a proper conversation on what you plan to do
yes.
if you do get into office, because we'd like to really hear your position on that.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Why are you wearing the wig for?
My hairstylist for last place insists I wear it. Left to me.
Chai!
Yes, so. Yes.
Yes, so.
I'd rather be like this on TV.
Yeah.
But my hairstylist insists
that because of the job that you have to put.
Well, because of TV, I gotta put it on.
Oh my goodness. Can you see Morayo without wig?
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
I can never forget the reaction on that day. Everybody was just calling me. Anyways, let's move on to 2019. What are we looking forward to? What is my take on the upcoming election? Honestly, in fact, what's most important to me right now is I'm due in a few weeks' time. I can't wait to even leave office and just wake up every morning, have my feet up, and just can't wait to just download, because trust me, I've been carrying this Peking for a long time. But actually, let me leave the jokes apart. Now, 2019 elections are coming. We all hope for a free and fair election. We hope that people can actually exercise their right. The truth is, everybody has been saying that even if I vote for this person, it's not going to count. It doesn't matter. It's only those who they want to win who will win. It doesn't matter. You might shock them. You just never know. If you think you're a minority, just vote. Even if it's one person that votes, although at least we know that there's one person that was convinced that it wasn't this person or that person. So go out, have your PVC, and vote. This is the most important thing you have to do 2019. Let's see. So my hope for Nigeria in 2019 is that we actually all plan ahead. And I think I always, when anybody asked me about my plan for 2018, what I thought about 2018, I think one of the people that inspired me the most in 2018 was Tokwe Makodige, because she had a plan. I mean, we're all here when Tokwe had a plan last year, what she wanted to do. And it sounded very, very ambitious. Oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I would think, okay, yeah, good for you. But interestingly, she actually was able to do it. That in itself was inspiring to me. Like, wow, this girl had a mind to do so many things, and she was able to take it one after the other. Now, for me, 2019, I'm saying I have to have a plan. I have to stick to a plan, know what I want to do, achieve it one at a time, and don't put yourself under pressure. But because I just start one and do the other, others just fall into place. So my advice to Nigerians is have a plan, stick to your plan, and at the end of the year, trust me, you will celebrate as many others are doing right now. So, what else do I want to leave with you? I would like to leave with you a message that struck me this year. And at the end of the day, it's all about what you can do to impact the people around you. Because I went through enough this year. Trust me, I've learned. I'm still going to write a book. I have to write a book on my experience. During a few weeks ago or a month ago, where this thing happened you know, what I said on TV, and people expected it to break my marriage. And that was the shocking part of it. It didn't even shake us in any way, shape, or fashion. And it just opened another chapter. Like, you know what? There are lots of people out there that are in relationships that probably are not founded on a proper solid rock. And that's why somebody will assume that something happened on television and it should break you. It shouldn't break you. It should actually make you stronger. And that really made me stronger. And I thank God for it, because it made our home stronger. And that's part of what's pushing me 2019 to be better and do much more. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what people think. It's about what I think about myself. So I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Have a fabulous day. It's 31st. Be safe. Find yourself somewhere you're praying or you're singing or you're dancing. Just be thankful. Don't drink and drive. Be happy. Enjoy yourself. And Happy New Year in advance. God bless you. Bye-bye.